Hello, good day, Philippines and people of the world. I'm sorry for that. I forgot to turn on the audio, the microphone. And again, without further ado, today we will begin with the continuation of our discussion last night. We've added some HTML tag, particularly the table tag, as you can see from your window. So that is our browser. So as you can see from your window, we've added the table border so that it will be more presentable or organized than the bare design or the bare presentation on Monday. Well, anyway, the purpose of this of the past discussions is not about to enhance the design, but just to show the logical way of doing the database matters. Okay. Uh, Today we will continue, as I promised yesterday. I mean last night. We will continue to do about the insertion of records or the adding of records. Let's say, for example, if we're going to create a form or an entry form where you can input all the details of your contacts. Let's say in this particular example we have here only three important details for our contacts: the last name, the first name, and then the contact number. Well, eventually or on your own version you can just add some important fields that you want to include. So I have just lessen it into three to make it simple, and I could demonstrate it to you easily. Okay, so let's get back to our source code. Okay, where's the source code? Okay, it's here. So that's where we end last night. That is the codes that or the scripts that we've created. So for now, again, this is our browser, and you have here the list. That is a dynamic list of your contacts. So whenever there is a record added to our database, specifically in MySQL, the one that we've used here, or any database platform if you're using any other. And then since we're dealing with a dynamic page or website, it will automatically be included here. Okay. Again, from our source code we will add a form or an entry form for your contacts. So let's modify this by adding some HTML tags. Okay, so formally we will include here HTML. So okay, for the HTML tags we will just make it all caps, although that's not case sensitive. Okay, so HTML tag must have a ending tag, because this is a sandwich tag also. And the same thing, and we can add some title here, title for our head. By the way, it's under the head tag. Okay, so under our head tag, because an HTML document composition has head and body. Okay, so under the head we have the title. Anyway, I will also discuss this to you when we go in details with every topic. Okay, so this is the title, and then let's say we will call this as so this is regarding contacts. We can call this address book. Okay, address book. So for our address book, and then of course we need to have a body or body tag, and from the body tag, okay, it should be here. This is a sandwich tag also. Okay, okay, so we have now the body and then the title. By the way, let us refresh this, and I'll just show you the title. Okay, what's the changes for this particular additional codes? Okay, once we refresh this browser, okay, it seems that there's no changes. But if you will look at the this one, the tab, so that is the title of the page, or the of this particular HTML document. So you can see from here, or you can read from here, the address book title. So that's what's for. Okay. Okay, let's get back to the source code. I'm sorry. Okay, so from here again, we will now create the enter form. So from the body, we will create form, okay, /form, and from the form tag, we will add we could create table here to make it more organized. Okay, /table, like what we did last night. Okay, from here we have the tr again, and /tr, and then td, table data, as our first column. And we could include from here the let's say last name and then first name, or even we can start with the first name. Okay, so for the first name, and then another td here, and then /td, and then instead of we will specify here the input type text, or this is for the text box. So we are now inserting or adding a form field, which is the text box. So we could name this as name equals. So these are the properties of a text box. So let's name this as txt, for the first name just fn. Okay, sample naming convention. Although you can just write here fn like that, but to have a good practice or best practice in naming convention, so when we put txt as our prefix here, we could easily remember, or we will easily know that it refers to a text box, because later we will be doing some codes there, and we need to remember these things like the name. Or you can just check again, scroll up, or find the file and this specific line, okay, if it's on a different file. But in our case, we have just included it here in a single file. Okay, so now we have here the type of this input type, that is, we're creating a text box, and we named it as txt_fn. Okay, so we will just copy from here for the next row, tr for table row. So instead of first name, we will specify here last name, and then we will just change this to avoid a conflict of name, or that will actually become an array. So that's not our purpose. So ln, and then we have now the first name, the last name, and the contact number. Okay, so let's make this contact number. Okay, and then for the contact number, I think txt contact no na lang, contact num or contact no. Okay, and then okay, let's try this first. Save the file. Okay, and then let's go back to the browser and try to refresh it. Okay, so now we are now on our browser. When we refresh this, as you can see from here, we have already here the text box for the first name. This is our label. the one that we've specified on the first TD or first column. So this is the second column for this first row, first line. So although we have not seen, or we cannot see from here the name, which is txtfn, but at the when we create a code, we will be using it. Okay, so we have here also the last name text box and then the contact number text box, but we're missing a button here, so we should have a button here like add contact or save contact, something like that. Okay, again, let's get back to our source code. Okay, let's continue editing it. So from here we will add a button. So to put it on the second column or aligned with the text box, with the three text box that we have specified, the last name, first name, and the contact number, we will just leave this blank. And then in the second column, instead of input type equals text, we will make this as it could be submit. Okay, so submit, and then we will name this since this is a button or command button, cmd, let's say save contact, something like that, or just cmd save. Okay, so we have the txtfn, txtln, txt contact number or contact no, and then cmd save. Okay, okay, let's try to refresh our page. Okay, we are now on our page, and then refresh. See, we have now here a button, but it's good if we will this is a default caption or label if we're not going to specify, or the default value for a submit type or command button for submit. Okay, so we will, I think it's better if we make this as save contact, something like that. Okay, let's move back, let's go back again to our source code. Okay, from here we will add another property or attribute of this input type submit button. We will add value equals and then save contact. Okay, and then let us save this again and try to refresh the page. Let's go back to the page. Okay, click the refresh button and then see it changes into this particular caption, save contact. But again, you can still enhance this design. Our just purpose for now is to make this functional. Okay, when we go in details with every topic in HTML and CSS, you can enhance the design, and you can use other way of presenting it. Instead of table, it could be div, and then you can modify the attributes or properties of it to become more presentable, or what do you call this, enhanced design. Okay, but again, for now our focus is for the functionality, and let's go back again to the source code. Okay, so how are we going to make it working? Okay, from this source code, we will add an attribute for our form. So we will write here, let's say action, and then equals, we will redirect this to save contact.php. Okay, So if this is the case, we need to have another file which will do the thing, or which will take care of our saving functionality for our contact form. Okay, so let's save this, and actually we cannot see any changes by this time from our browser. That's why we create, or we add another file. Okay, I will click this one. Okay, and then I will create again another PHP tag, and from here we need to get first all the information, or all the data that are being inputted or entered from our previous page, or from our view contacts page, wherein we can find our contact form, or the entry form for our contacts. Okay, so in order to do that, since we have not specified here, okay, we have not specified here a method, a form method, because another attribute for that is method. By default, it means that we're using the get method. Okay, so if we're using the get method, from here we will write, let's try to echo first, or print the value. Echo, and then $get, and then for our $get, we will specify here the field name. So from our previous page, we've specified the txtfn, txtln, txtcontact now. So let's try first the first one, which is the txtfn. Okay, we will see if we could display, or we could display it from here. We're not yet saving by this time. Okay, we're just trying to test if we could get the data from there, or from the previous page. Okay, we will save this into the same path, HTML test, and then lessons, or you can save that into your own folder. By the way, there is a question that is being sent to me, and we will discuss it later. Okay, so that is related to here. Okay, so view contacts, so that is our existing file, and then from here we will create save contact, save contact.php. Instead of save contact singular, because we're only saving one contact at a time. So view contacts, we're listing all the contacts that we have already stored in our address book, or our database. Okay, in our case we just named this as test database, and we have table, because the hierarchy of that is that in a database you can have tables, or a table or many tables, and then in each table you can have different columns or fields. In our case, we have the test, we named test as our database, and we have the table which is contacts, and under the contacts table we have fields or columns, the ID, the last name, the first underscore name, and the contact number. Okay, let's continue. I will save this as save contact.php, and save. And finally, as you can see from your window, you have there the save underscore contact.php. Okay, so let's try to let's go back to our page. Okay, from here let us refresh this. Okay, and let's try to input let's say Tony Regondola, say 0928 or 63928313739, and then save contact. See, so as you can see from your window, from the browser, it displays the Tony value, because that's the first name that we have specified from here. So once we click this is submit button, and we have specified the action. By the way, let's take a look at the source code. Okay, so again, okay, from our source code we have there the save contact action. That's why it proceeded, or it was redirected into this particular file or page. So save contact.php, and this is the save contact.php, and what it does is like this one, echo or print, meaning to say we're just displaying what we got from the txtfn. So txtfn is the name of the of our one of our text box or text boxes from here. So one of the text boxes is the txtfn, and then we could also, if we have done that right from txtfn, surely we could also get the value from here, the txtln for the last name and the txt contact for the contact number. Okay, so okay, let's get back to this source code, and instead of echoing it, we will first assign it to a variable. Let's say $fn for the first name. $fn equals txt get fn, and let's copy this. Then we have here the txt ln for the last name, $ln and txt ln. So these are the variables from our previous page, okay? But this one will become our variable from into this page, because we will be using that when we do the saving, okay? What we're doing right now is not yet saving. We are just assigning the value of this, whatever the value that we've gotten from the previous page, into this variable, okay? And then what else? The contact number. We can just specify our contact or contact underscore number, and then here contact number. Okay, so we have now the values. Then we can also try to echo that first if we are getting the value correctly or getting the values correctly. So let's say, for example, we have here the $fn and then $ln. We did not use that for our concatenation, because they are just variables that don't use, or that don't have the apostrophe or the single quote. And then here the $contact number, or we can put some dash here, something like that, 2 hyphens, and then $contact number. Okay, and then let's try to save this and get back to our page. Okay, so from here, let us refresh this and click the save contact. As you can see from your window, we have here the first name, which comes from the txtfn and assigned to a variable $fn, which is included into our echo line or echo command. Okay, and then we have the space. We specify the single space there, and then the last name or the $ln, and then the 2 dashes or 2 hyphens, and then the contact number. So meaning to say, the point is we can already save these values. We get it right from our previous page from here. So this is the time that we can already save these values into our database without directly opening it in our or from our MySQL through the phpMyAdmin, or whatever way that you want to access your MySQL, because do not be confused that between phpMyAdmin and the MySQL, because the MySQL is the main database engine or database platform, and phpMyAdmin is just a web-based or a browser-based application in order to access your MySQL database. Okay, going back to what we're trying to do, we're going to finally save this, and again, let's take a look at the source code. Okay, so from here we could simply we need again to connect to our database, although there is another way of doing that we can just include that portion because it becomes redundant, but just for demo purposes and for your mastery, we will just duplicate the connection from here. Okay, we will copy this part, so we're not going to make a viewing of records or select from contacts. So we will copy this, okay, and then from here, from our saved contacts, you can put that at the top or here, for as long as you declare this before you do something with the database. Okay, and then from here, yes, we also need the MySQL query because we're going to execute a query. Okay, and we will not put some validations by this time. Actually, you need some validations from here. When you click that, you have to have some required fields and not allow the user to continue in saving the contact without the necessary information that you need from the user, okay, or from this form. So we will not focus on the validation by this time to make it simple. Okay, so from here we will directly issue an SQL statement that will save this information into our database. Okay, so how are we going to do that? That will be MySQL query, and then the $con for our connection to our database, and then from here we will specify, we will do the insert into statement. Okay, so how do we do that? Insert into, there's a syntax for it, and again, we will study that in details when we already touch the topic for MySQL topics. Okay, there are a lot of topics also from there. So we're just trying to make a shortcut for everything, just to present, not to confuse you, but to show to you the general idea or the important things on why we're going to on why we need to learn on how to create a program in web development, okay, or a dynamic page or dynamic application. So insert into, and then followed by the table name. So in our case, we're manipulating the contacts table because this is we're going to store this information. Insert into contacts, and then let's say what are the field names that we need to be included in our insertion. So that will be the last name. You may interchange that for as long as it follows the correct format or the correct sequence. Okay, last name and then first name. So this last underscore name, first underscore name, and contact underscore no for number, these are the field names that we've created in our MySQL. Okay, and then values, so another parenthesis. Okay, inside this you will specify the $ln because you've mentioned first here the last name, so it should be LN. So that's what I'm trying to explain a while ago, that it should be in a correct sequence. So if you write first the first name, it should be FN here. Otherwise, your value for first name will be stored into last name and vice versa. So that's there will be a problem with your record, and that it will be confusing to the user or end user. And then we have the $FN, because these are the variables that we've used from here. We have assigned this value into these variables, okay? And then we have the dollar contact or contact number, and then that's it. Okay, so before we are going to save this now, but before we're going to finally execute this, let's check first our MySQL, the test table, and the test database and the contacts table, to see to it that we're using the correct naming for our field names or column names under our contacts table. Okay, so I will open a PHP myadmin okay. So from here we will open, this is our database, the test database and the contacts table. Okay, so from here, so these are the records that we have created on the 2 previous sessions. Okay, so we have here the last name, Doe, Clara, and Penduko. First name, John, Maria, and Pedro. Okay, these are their contact numbers. So this is what we're trying to check, the last name. So we did not include ID because that is auto increment. So we don't need to insert record for, let's say, for number 4, because automatically once we insert these 3 fields, that will generate the next number. Okay, so from here, last underscore name, first underscore name, and then contact underscore number. So we will update this one. We will I'm sorry, I'm not showing you, I think, you're not into the browser for a moment. So this is the browser. This is what I'm trying to explain a while ago. Okay, so we have here the ID, the last name, the first name, and the contact number. We don't need to, or we did not specify the ID in our insert into statement, because this is auto increment. We don't need to specify this or write another value from this particular field, because that is again auto increment and primary key. So what we need is to have this, the last name, last underscore name, first underscore name, and the contact number. And we have here the Django, the Maria Clara, and the Pedro Penduko, and these are their contact numbers. As you can see from here, the field name for contact number should be contact underscore number. So it should be spelled correctly, otherwise it will not save, or the entire record or this particular field. Okay, going back to the source code. Okay, going back to our source code, we will change this part, because this represents the entire field names. So it should be spelled correctly, and this one is contact now, because that's the one that we've used from here. Or you can just also do other naming, for as long as it is brief and descriptive, okay, of what you're trying to define, or or variable or whatever. Okay, so I think this is now good. Let us try to refresh from here. Okay, we will proceed to our browser. I'm sorry. From our browser, and then press back first or previous, and then we have the Tony. Let's say we have type Tony, Regondola, and then the number 63928313739, and then let's try to save the contact. Okay, when we click the save contact, okay, so we still have this because we printed it by using the echo command, or yeah. And then let's try to check directly into our database if from these 3 records it becomes 4. Okay, so we can just click the refresh. Where is the refresh button? This one. Click refresh, and never mind about this, that is just a configuration. Okay, so as you can see from here, we have already the ID 4, and then last name Regondola, first name Tony, and then the contact number. So meaning to say, we are now able to save the record. Okay. By the way, are you still on our browser? Yeah, that's right. That's good. So we have now 4 records from that, and when we press the previous button, oh, we don't have yet the 4th record here because we need to refresh this, because when you click the previous button, it's just showing the history, the previous history of the page. It's not actually refreshing or loading again the fresh page. Okay, so we need to click the refresh here, and then that's the time that you could see it from here. So meaning to say, when the script or codes that we've created from the view contacts are already being run again, it would get the fresh records, or the most updated records from the database. So since we have 4 here, and it shows here the 4 records, so meaning to say we can now add and save more contacts from this form. But it's better if once we click the save contact, we should have something like a message that it has already been saved, and another link or button, it could be, or just a link that will lead us back here. Okay, so let's get back again to our source code for a moment. Okay, so from here, I think let's say, for example, we pass this into a value, say a dollar. How do we call this? This is not a result set because we're not retrieving something like row, because that is a record. So if dollar row, meaning the saving is if the saving is successful, okay, what we're going to do is that we will post a message that the new contact has been saved. And then after saving, click here to view the updated contact list. Oops. To view the contacts or the contacts list. Okay, and I think from here, this one, click here to view the contacts. Click here. So this one, we could specify here ahref, that is a hyperlink, and then something like that, and then only the here word that we're going to make an anchor tag or a link. So from here we will specify the view contacts.php. Okay, so that the view contacts PHP without pressing the previous button will be loaded and with the fresh records. Okay, so let's try to refresh this. Save this, and let's move back to our browser. Okay, so from here let us refresh this and try to enter new values. Let's say, for example, are you already on our browser? Yeah, that's right, that's good. What are the other names that I remember? Let's say Juan de la Cruz, and let's say his number is 888, something like that. So Juan de la Cruz and the contact number is 888. When we click the save contact button, oops, nothing appears. There is a problem, huh? Okay, let's check first the database, because maybe this is an error, or we have just not let's check. When we refresh this, okay, we don't have the fourth record, meaning to say there is a problem with our source code. So let's get back to our source code. Let's try to examine this. You have here the MySQL query, and then $o, if $o begin end. What happened to this? Okay, we forgot to end the statement. There should be a semicolon here to end the statement. Okay, save, and then instead of entering again the values of Juan de la Cruz, okay, let's move back to the browser, and I think we can just refresh this so that we don't need to enter again the details. Or click the refresh button, and let's see if this time it will now work. Okay, so Juan de la Cruz 888. I think we have to put some BR here to move this line, to move this sentence into the next line. Okay, but again, we have now here this message: the new contact has been saved, and click here to view the contact list. So we don't need to click this. That will just navigate us from the previous page without reloading it to have a fresh record. So we need to click this one. As you can see from here, okay, we have there the link for the view contacts. So once I click this, see, we have now 5 records from here, and we can just put BR. Let's go back to the source code. So from here we can just put BR here before finally displaying this message. Or from here, BR for break. So if there will be succeeding text that we want to display, or labels, so that will move to the next line. So this is a line break. Or if we add another BR here, so there will be a single space in between this information and this statement, or this statements. Okay, so that's how we do the saving. And again, you can manipulate that, or you can do that in a single page or in a multi pages. or whatever strategy that you want to do. But the point is that we are already or I've already shown to you on how to view the records coming from the database, and on how to insert record coming from your form or entry form and storing it to the database. Actually, although not exactly like this, but logically that's what happening, or that what's happening when you register or submit your information to the web application or to the website. When you register, or when you join to a particular, or you feed your information for a particular page or application. So that portion is the adding of record or insertion of record into your database. And that's very important because you cannot accumulate records, or you cannot fetch, or you cannot get the information from the end user without this functionality. So again, we have the 4 basic but so important functionalities: the adding or the insertion, this one, and then the viewing, the one that we have done on the previous, and then the editing, if in the future or on the next topic we want to have an editing from here, or if we also want to include a delete functionality, because let's say that is just a typo error, or let's say we want to erase already that contact information of a particular contact, or of a particular person from our address book. So there should be a delete button or delete functionality, not exactly a button, it could be a link or whatever, or as long as it does the work, or it will do the deletion for you. Okay, so that's how we do it. And okay, you can actually navigate or review the codes while I am checking some questions that are being sent to us. So we will try to answer few of this because we don't have time already. Okay, just review this particular code for the saving or save contact portion. I will not, I'm just here, and while reading some of the messages through email, via email, and other medium. Okay, just enjoy understanding, or try to understand these things. But again, like what I've said last time, you don't need to master this by this time. If you are novice into web development, just understand the idea, because we're not yet doing the details or the detailed approach on how to create, or as I've said, this is a journey for web development. We will start our start will be for the HTML topic. So we will have different HTML topics. Actually, we have touched already some, like BR, this one, break, and then what else? This one, anchor tag, ahref. So these are parts of the HTML tags. And on the previous, we've also created form. So that is also part of our HTML topics. Okay. So once we finally and formally start with our lecture about it, I want you to have your laptop or desktop so that you can follow step by step on how to do HTML thing, because that will be our very first topic in our web development, or in our journey in web development. Okay, so I'll just play a music while you are trying to analyze this part. Okay, just stay there, and I'm just here. I don't care what they know. Hello, sound check. Okay. There is a one interesting question here that I wanna discuss before we end this session, because actually we still have I think 8 to 9 minutes before 7 a.m. to end this session for today. There's a question here: if can I learn web development in one day? Actually, I agree with it. It's very possible and doable. Not only one day, but even in minutes or hours, you can learn web development. But in terms of percentage, I don't think that you can grasp everything in one day or even in 1 week. Especially if you are novice into web development, I think that's next to impossible to master in one day everything. Especially for today, there are already a lot of software technologies. There are a lot of already of frameworks. What I taught you is just a core foundation, or the PHP core, and the basic HTML, the PHP core, and the basic commands. Although these commands are very or these things are very important, or the vital uh, topics in web development. Because if you use another framework or another language, that would be a different approach. But logically, that would not be different. Even if you use whatever language that you are master or that you wanna use, adding of records is still adding of records. Viewing of records is still viewing of records. It could be different on how to present it, but logically again, the concept of it is similar. Okay? So it's just a matter of familiarity. So if you are familiar with this language, then you can do that. If you're going to use another language, let's say the .NET frameworks, the VB.NET for non-web application, or the ASP.NET for its web-based programming language counterpart, or the C Sharp for not for desktop development or Windows development, but C Sharp for web development, the C++ for web development, and the Django framework of Python, or the Python Classic or the Core Python, and what else? The JSP, and there are a lot of especially frameworks. In PHP, there are different flavors or frameworks. Okay, so what I'm trying to say or to explain to you is that even if the frameworks will evolve, or even if we have a never-ending frameworks that are being produced or developed by other developers for us to be used, is still the concept will remain the same. So that's why I created this format or this program as daily live cast or daily live tutorial, and just a 1 hour session, because I believe in my personal experience that the learner can grasp efficiently if it will not be overwhelmed by a huge information, or a lot of or loaded by a huge information at the same time, or in one sit or in one session. So you have the time to analyze and to review what we're doing, and also to correct. Actually, I am open for any correction. For if I think I did it incorrectly, or there is a wrong with my codes, or there is a wrong with what I've said, there's no problem with me. Okay, but with this knowledge, or that I am sharing with you, These are my actually my personal experience. This is how I begin in this journey. And this is only one of the topics. Okay. Uh, and you need to learn the different scripting, or the different languages, or let's say the different topics in layman's term, like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. When we say CSS, there are already frameworks in CMS. If you are focusing on the theming or the design or the enhancement of your design. And if we're talking about JavaScript, there will be the JavaScript core, or the native JavaScript, and there's jQuery, and there are many other JavaScript frameworks. So that's what I can say with this concern. If you can learn the web development in one day, again, that's doable, and it always depends on the learner. So the faster you could understand the topics, the better, or the faster you could acquire other topics, and you could learn so many things in web development. So it's not just about on how you are so good or fast learner, but also um, you can also, through your hard work also, that will help a lot. Even if you're not so good, but you're trying your best, and you have the interest and the perseverance to do this, I am sure that one day, or a little accumulation of knowledge, will make you better in this endeavor. Okay, so I think that's all for now, and it's almost 7 a.m. and tomorrow is Thursday. We could start at 8 p.m. until 9 p.m. So around 8 p.m. We will be live again by tomorrow. So I will be coming from my office, or from work, and then I will proceed, or I will, once I arrive, I will set up everything, and then we will continue the discussion. Okay? So that's all for now, and I hope you've learned something today again. And I will continue to be discussing more important, or some important topics, tomorrow and until Friday, and again next week, Monday to Friday, except holidays. Okay, I just want to clarify that during holidays here in the Philippines, we cannot have our live tutorial, because I will be doing some other things also. But that's just very seldom. Most of the time on weekdays, it's not holiday. Okay, again, that's all for now, and bye bye.